Ken Trahan with Lenny Vangilder. It's our First NBC Bank Weekend Review, brought to you by First NBC Bank, with 31 locations throughout the metropolitan New Orleans area and beyond. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNola.com. Well, the New Orleans Saints are 2-0 in the preseason, for whatever that's worth. It is worth something when your starters play better, as they did in Week 2 against Oakland, as compared to how they performed in Week 1 against Kansas City. And, Lenny, I guess that's what you take out of the second game.
Exactly. I mean, the offense had the ball, the number one offense, for 5 series and scored 5 times, 2 touchdowns, 3 field goals. And I think the good news is it's a win. There are still a lot of things to work on, especially when it comes to the second unit, which really struggled offensively out there, put the ball on the ground, and that's something that needs to be corrected, obviously. I'm sure will be a point of emphasis this week. But it's good to win and still have things to work on. You don't want to go out there and play a perfect football game in the second week of preseason and suddenly, if you will, get full of yourself a little bit. So it's a lot of things to work on. You got 2 games on the road left, a chance to, travel a little bit and get used to that environment, and a very good opponent in Week 3 of the preseason coming up in the Houston Texans.
Yeah, more of a measuring stick, and Game 3 is typically the one that matters most, the one where starters play the most, and obviously the Texans are a good football team.
Yeah, they are, and that's like you say, you want a good test in that spot, and clearly you'll see the starters play at least a half, if not early into the third quarter. We almost saw that in Friday night's game, in fact. I mean, those guys, the ones were out there almost until halftime. The only snap that Drew Brees and the number one offense didn't take was a kneel down at the end of the half. So, it'll go a little bit longer, you would think, into, early into the third quarter. You like that idea of coming back out and taking that first series of the second half. Kind of creates a little more real scenario that you're going to face in the regular season.
Well, the one thing that's pretty obvious about the Saints is that you've got, realistically, as many as 5 or 6 street free agents that have a chance to make this final roster, which is remarkable, and it speaks volumes about the job that the Saints have done in scouting to bring in these guys.
They continue to do that, and the ability, almost an innate ability, to find these guys at the running back position, is remarkable. I think Kyrie Robinson's got a legitimate chance to make this 53-man roster. Tavares Cadet did himself no favors putting the ball on the ground twice Friday night, and you have to wonder how much more of a look Robinson will get if they're going to carry 4 tailbacks, if you will, and the 3 of them are set. Who is that 4th guy? Last year they carried 5, so it's 4 is certainly a realistic possibility to where if Robinson gets a chance to perhaps jump Cadet on the depth chart, then who knows. Now Cadet does run back kicks and he can run back punts, and that is when you start looking at those last positions on the roster, that is a valuable situation to be able to add in there. Who can play special teams?
Well, we'll see what happens. Of course, full analysis at SportsNola.com on the Saints as they march toward the regular season and the opener against the Atlanta Falcons on September the 8th. The New Orleans Zephyrs have won all 3 games of their homestand against the Iowa Cubs as they play out the string. So 3-0 against the I-Cubs, including a marathon on Sunday.
16 innings. That was a long night at the ballpark. Some members of my family had to be there for all of that. So, long one, but you come back, and the beauty of baseball is you come back and play again the next day, and they'll come back and do it again Monday night and Tuesday night and close out the series.
Yeah, hey, one note on Major League Baseball, the whole fiasco with Alex Rodriguez. First of all, the rules are the rules. The Players Association is the very reason that he's playing right now, based on the rules established by the Players Association with appeals. And yet a player rep throws at him 3-4 times. All they get is a warning on both sides. I mean, this whole situation has just gotten ridiculous, and I thought the umpire handled that very, very poorly.
Yeah, I agree, but the beauty of baseball, unlike other sports, is the game polices itself in a lot of situations. Now, does this qualify there? Usually when you see these types of things, it's because something happened on the field the day before or the series before, whatever it is. Yeah. This isn't the first time. This wasn't the first game of the series. This was the 3rd game of the series. It wasn't something that happened on Saturday, but it leads you to believe, what was the cause of it? Was it because of what he's accused of, or is it the new accusations that perhaps he ratted out some people?
Which he says he didn't.
Which is a whole new dynamic to this story. It just goes on. There is baseball still to be played on the field. We're going to have some great pennant races as we head into September, and that's where the focus needs to be, is on the field.
Well, what's wrong about baseball is that both teams get issued a warning, and the other team has done absolutely nothing. There should have been a warning after the first pitch when he threw behind the guy, okay? That's obviously with intent. That doesn't happen without intent, clearly, and you let it go 4 pitches in, and then you issue a warning to both teams. Joe Girardi was dead right with the way he reacted, dead right with what he said after the game, and, yeah, baseball unwritten rules take care of themselves. Nah, I'm not buying it. And then, of course, from the standpoint of college football, LSU 12th in the nation in the Associated Press poll. I think that's about right.
I think so. 12 in the 13 in the coaches, 12 in the writers poll. One thing that so a lot of times you'll see a big disparity in some cases. There's really not that this time around. There seems to be some agreement. I believe it's 19 of the 25 spots in the 2 polls the writers and the coaches agreed upon. Writers and coaches don't agree on things a lot of times, I got to tell you. But in this case, it seems that they did. Alabama, an overwhelming number 1, 58 out of 60 ballots. No surprise there.
And Tulane continuing to get ready for their season opener with Jackson State almost upon us. And they got another commitment from Trahan and Lenny of Bell Chase as they continue to build their class for 2014 with 13 commitments now in that class. Of course, you can follow everything regarding LSU, Tulane, the Saints, Prep, including our latest previews on Prep Covington, the latest preview that's up as of Monday morning, and many more to come all week long. We'll cover some scrimmages later this week on the Prep scene, so get ready. Football's here.
It is here. It is here, and I know you're excited, as am I.
Yeah, I think so. No, I am. Looking forward to it. Lenny, is always a pleasure. Thank you, and thank you for checking out the First NBC Weekend Review, brought to you by First NBC Bank, with 31 locations throughout the greater New Orleans area and beyond. That's First NBC Bank. For Lenny, I'm Kenny. Have a great week, and God bless.